that is good storytelling.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be honest, I'm here for the real MCU. That's the Maverick Cinematic Universe. So if they're going to have like Goose spin-offs, or just how Rodriguez got her wings, or if they're gonna do like how Hangman got the real nickname or call sign of like Bagman. I'm here for it, because I'm sure it'll be a more mature and a more in tone with what I'd like to see at this at a particular point in my life, and what I would like in terms of cinema.
Yeah.
The real MCU has just started. Hi there and welcome to Two Reels Podcast. I am your host Liam Reedy, and today I'm with Samuel Mills and we're talking Top Gun Maverick. But before we get into the podcast, just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to everyone who's given us a listen, everyone who's given us a download since our inception around 2 years ago. We're coming up to our 50th episode, and we've just surpassed 2,500 unique downloads. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's given us a listen. If you want to support the podcast, check out shop2reels.com. Over there we've got t-shirts, hoodies, mugs and more, loads of good stuff. And also give us a like on Facebook, give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter, all of those at Two Reels Podcast. So thank you once again. First one in the new studio.
Still being named, I feel like. We haven't quite settled on a... Do you know what it is? Do you know why I haven't quite settled on it? Because I know we're called like... It's obviously there's always Two Wheels Towers, but I feel like that's like the venue. But the room, I don't know. I want a pun. And I can't for the life of me pick up a fucking pun.
Yeah. The real room? I don't know.
Oh,
It's around it.
I like it.
Yeah?
That might be it.
The real room.
Well, at least for now, but no, I like it.
Yeah.
The real room.
We've been trying to do a podcast for 4 weeks.
Yeah. Not even this one.
Not even this one.
No, we've still got that one to come.
Yeah, still got Pirates of the Caribbean.
So we'll go into it on this one, because I feel like we'll have Harry present for that one, because he's part of that story.
So we'll skip the semantics of why there's been no podcast for a little while. Coming back to a film that is a huge blockbuster is probably a good thing. You know, our next podcast,
not only a huge blockbuster, but so good.
So good.
One.
Something that lives...
A really good one.
Something that lives up to expectation.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's some people I talk to who have seen the film who their expectations were like low. So, for them, those people to have said that they thoroughly enjoyed it as well, thought it was really good. Again, it's just it's like in a different vein of Hollywood blockbusters, which I feel like are rarer occasions because of the prevalence of the MCU and superhero movies these days. And a lot of people prior have been like, well, unless it's Avengers movie, it's not going to make $1 billion. No. And this one is just 2 middle fingers up to that.
Absolutely.
Two Tom Cruise middle fingers up to that, because
literally
it is
Tom Cruase base diving off of a cliff, flipping off the bird,
running. His trademark running. Then like you said, base jumping, flipping the birds, saying like that's not. Cinema is not superhero movies, and they're not the be all and end all of like what can entertain, not just make money, but like. But do you think, actually entertain?
Think one of these? I feel like it's not worth hiding the fact that we really enjoyed this. I think it was even though I've opened on it. Do you think part of the reason, I'm sure we'll get into it, is because it was a film made by people that wanted to make the film, that know the film, and not necessarily I wasn't necessarily know the audience. I think he made the film he wanted to make.
Yeah, I think so.
And shock horror.
It was good.
Someone made the film they wanted to make instead of the film they were told to or thought would sell. They just made the film they wanted to make. Yeah. And oh my god, it was amazing. And I'm so, to be honest, I'm just, if anyone, I think everyone seems to know the behind the scenes stories behind this film.
Yeah.
But
I feel
I'm
like
so glad it worked out because of the work, the extra work that went in before the film was even made, with the piloting and all that stuff, and
yeah, I mean the it's been well documented that the making of this film was as impressive as the film itself.
Yeah, exactly.
And one thing that I feel gets not overlooked, but because it's got some very iconic music, some of the other tracks from this movie, Hans Zimmer doing the music for this film, and with Lady Gaga, and having an original song, which is in itself is a rarity as well, isn't it, these days, having a song made for the film.
Yeah.
I know it's not when...
Which is sort of in Top Gun tradition as well, because Kenny Loggins wrote them all for it.
I mean, in the 80s, it used to be the norm.
Yeah, it was so normal. Yeah.
But,
Which went first, that or Will Smith not doing a song at the end of all of his...
No, yeah. Will Smith, I feel like they crescendoed at the same time. Do you know what I mean? I feel like 2002, he stopped doing the... or 2003, he stopped doing doing a rap for the...
And then shortly after... music and film died.
I feel like this...
Is there a coincidence?
I feel like... Yeah, no, that's conspiracy right there. I feel like Will Smith was the catalyst for the change.
The heart of music written for films.
But, I mean, it's not... The song that is made for this movie by Madame de Gaga is not called Top Gun, which I feel like if it was made in the 90s, say the sequel to... Top Gun was made in the early 90s, they would have just gone with that, because...
Or called it The Need for Speed.
Yeah, Or, another tagline.
Yeah. Or maybe just done a full-on Kiss from a Rose from the Batman movie and just
well out there.
Not about anything.
Not about anything at all, exactly.
It's not even about a different subject.
Not at all.
Just not about this.
Not
the ramblings of a madman.
Not a single lyric to do with Batman.
I once tried to learn the lyrics to Kiss from a Rose. Oh, I love that song.
Why do I only
know the chorus? I nearly went mad.
Worse than doing an English GCSE at this age.
It's I don't know if it's symbolism or if it's just randomness. A man will go mad trying to figure out.
a man will lose all his marbles trying to recollect every line from Kiss from a Rose. But I was listening to the soundtrack before. I was listening to it this afternoon, and honestly, even going from Lady Gaga's song, it's called "Hold My Hand," which is, I mean, it's apt because that's most of the lyrics to it. But going from that to Hans Zimmer's score is I don't know if it shouldn't work, but it does. It's more they do just kind of complement each other. It's all very epic actiony.
But it's epic actually. They could have just done, let's just go full on cheesy and have all the songs like Kenny Loggins and stuff again.
Well, they could have just had Take My Breath Away. They could have just rehashed it.
Yeah.
Could have just got Lady Gaga to do a re-release.
They did throughout all of the first movie.
Yeah.
They just did. We will touch on the first movie as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
They very much. It wasn't just 2 songs or 3 songs for the entire movie, and because we were watching the first one, weren't we? And isn't every time there's a moment, not even a touching moment. I feel like a filler moment. It just started to do.
I feel like it's every time there's a beat or a beat change.
Yeah,
it's boom, 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 and you're just what? Why is that? Why is that happening? Yeah, that's it. In the first movie, they did kind of they did steer clear of some tropes that they had. It's very well established, the first movie, and everyone who's seen it more than once knows the schlockier bits.
Yeah.
knows the kind of winks and nods, and knows the
I said it was this time around I realised that it is if I didn't know what it was and you showed it to me, I think it was a less slapstick or on the nose version of Hot Shots, which ironically is Top Gun.
Obviously.
But honestly, every line in it is I've always loved Hot Shots anyway, but I can absolutely see why Hot Shots chose Top Gun.
Of course.
Because every single line in the original Top Gun is an action movie line. It's so cheesy in the best way though. Like it's not, I'm not watching this like, what the fuck is this? I'm literally watching this like, this is great. I want to see more.
I feel like Hot Shots was made because they were like, can we outdo the cheesiness? Can we outdo the kind of the Hollywood cliches that Top Gun has presented?
Yeah.
It was just like, can we do better than that?
Yeah.
Can we do like, because obviously Top Gun takes itself to a degree seriously.
Yeah.
They were just like, can we go one further? And yeah, I love Hot Shots as well. That's a great film. We'll definitely do an episode about parodies.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that whole type of comedy, Naked Gun, Hot Shots, Airplane, all that sort of stuff. I think Mel Brooks, though, I know, is hired on himself.
Did watch a recent video on YouTube about like different styles of comedy, and just kind of like that when they had their times, you know, and like parody, the rise, and obviously the like the explosion of parody films, and how terrible they got in the mid-noughties.
Well, I feel like it kind of like in the 80s and 80s into the 90s, wasn't it? Because Men in Tights was literally the year after Prince of Thieves. But that's Mel Brooks. But I think it was 80s, 90s was the absolute pinnacle of that comedy. Like Naked Gun, Airplane, Mel Brooks, anything by Mel Brooks, that sort of stuff, like absolutely fantastic. And then we had a bit of a reawakening in the noughties. What's Scary Movie?
Late 90s, I'd say.
Scary Movie good. Scary Movie 2, generally good.
Well, I feel like Scary Movie did what Scream did for horror, was reinventing the genre, or giving it like a boost. Scary Movie did exactly the same 2 years later with parodies.
I learned out later that Scary Movies actually is a parody of a parody, because Scream movies are in some aspects a parody.
Yeah, they're more meta than parody.
Yes, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but and then they came out and they were like, they did well. They were good. They generally are funny. Followed the same sort of tropes, but in a more modern sense. And then it just got reference galore. I think that's the difference. References. There was film. Obviously, a lot of the ones in the 80s stuff like Men in Tights, Hot Shots and stuff. I mean, the film itself is a reference.
Yes.
But still, even within the film itself being a reference and the scenes being similar, there was less references.
Yeah.
And then in this, it just became about clickbait almost. Clickbait references, like having like Amy Winehouse because she was popular at the time or something like that.
Well, that was what I was watching on this particular video, where it was just like the collapse of parody was just putting in pop culture reference sake.
Yeah.
In terms of references, going back to Top Gun, the references start from minute one, or the very first second of the film, really, where they reference the first one with the music.
Yes, yeah. Brilliant.
Which I think was a good idea.
Brilliant music, and even the panning across his like pictures, isn't it, of not the first gun, but him with Goose and things like that. All this.
That's not right at the beginning. Right at the beginning is obviously like the titles. Which
Sorry.
Which is almost a shot-for-shot remake of the first one.
Yeah. My brother
just with updated technology.
It is literally. Yeah, he said it is the shot-for-shot. It's the same. Yeah, but it was perfect because it starts off the soft music, something like that. And then just as the train, I got goosebumps. Like,
yeah, same. Yeah,
got literal goosebumps. But no, the first, it had a different. Definitely, the film itself, as much as I say, it did that thing where we've said about it before, like the perfect formula. If you want to do this sort of thing, is do the same thing again but different. It kind of did that, but didn't do that. As I keep saying, it was still a different story. It was like
that's a good thing. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It was definitely a different story and not an exact same rehash.
This one was. This wasn't even the same objective. Like in Top Gun, it was just about being in Top Gun, being the best and stuff like that. This one was like, no, we have a task and there's a thing they have to learn, and it all wrote in so well. A bit more serious, this one as well. That's probably why the Kenny Loggins kicking in at the action scenes wouldn't quite have fit.
Probably wouldn't have fit, but I feel like with the initial having the main titles track, I think, which is just called Back to Top Gun. That's obviously what the music that kicks in straight away, and having Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins. I mean, it gave you a nod that this is the same. This still the same universe.
Yeah.
But then the rest of the movie, especially going from the title credits, which were exactly the same as the original, going to the first scene, which is you see Maverick, and then he goes to the test center, and then all that whole scene shows you that it's a very different tone, especially the cinematography is different. It's all very hyper modernized, which is very well done, because I feel like it's like he's testing out this like super bit of equipment, which is the stealth fighter. And when you watch it in IMAX or on the big, or just on the big screen, you can just tell like they have moved on, and so has technology. Since it's like a kind of a mirroring of like what's happening on screen and the look of it.
Absolutely, it's kind of, it does fit. Even the dialogue's a bit updated. It's not every line. There is some like the dialogue is that kind of like expressive, like movie dialogue, but done in a little bit more of a like even just the guys like the guy older than him telling him that he's a dying breed and he's got to get on board with the future, and they're like, "We are twice my like." It's a bit like, why would that guy be saying that? Surely, like
Ed Harris plays his superior officer.
Yeah, I think he's brilliant little touch to it. I really like they worked him in, because he fits in so perfectly, and he fits that role so well.
Him replacing the guy who plays the principal in Back to the Future. He's Ed Harris is a perfect replacement.
He's not Viper, is he? What is he in? What's his codename in the first one? The bald guy.
I don't think he has a call sign.
I'm sure they call him by a call sign.
I'm pretty sure Viper is someone else.
Yeah, Viper is someone else, but I thought he had a call sign as well, because he's one of the ones they shoot down in the air, isn't he? In their first bit.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, the guy who plays the hard-nosed general,
he's got. But yeah,
who is he? We will get there. He is. Oh no, lost it now. James Tolkien. He plays. Oh yeah, he does. He plays. What's his? He does have a call sign, but it's Stinger. But he's just like a commander, And having Ed Harris play his quasi replacement, is just like a perfect touch.
Absolutely,
because
it's the same guy, but the modern version again. Like it wasn't as like almost like not cheesy. Ed Harris is just so good at playing this sort of like stern, intimidating kind of like. I feel like if Ed Harris walked into a room and I've never met him and he ordered me to do something, I'd like do it instinctually.
You probably would do it
because of the way he voiced. Like,
also, you don't want to piss him off.
No. He'd be real life actually able to do the thing in Cobra Kai, the quiet.
Yes.
If he did that, I would be like,
yep.
I would just stop talking.
Just jaw drops.
Yeah. But he's that kind of like, you could walk into a military base and people just think he's a general.
Yeah, he doesn't need to show his credentials. No. His eyebrows are his credentials.
Exactly.
The look he gives you is his credentials.
He's just so good.
He looks at you and you're just like, shit, I think that guy's a commander.
He's so good, Ed Harris. So I do like seeing him when he pops up.
So he was a good inclusion for the early, part of the movie. The scene with the stealth fighter very much set up the fact that Maverick is still Maverick. Like he's still got the goods. You're going to use 80s terms for this. He's still got the goods.
We're with Top Gun, man. It goes 80s as you want. This is the time to go full on cheesy.
He's still got the goods, but he still goes too close to the edge.
He's still got that need.
Yeah, he's still got that need for speed. Definitely at fucking Mach 10.
And that wasn't enough. That whole considering, and I think this is where the filming and stuff came into it like so well. We were just watching essentially. Especially in that scene, he's not doing any like fancy. It's just him going in a straight line, trying to hit Mach 10 in this like jet thing, you feel it.
Yeah.
You like feel it because
I do believe that scene though. I don't think he's actually. That's one of the times where I'm like, he's not in that plane. Like because I don't think that plane exists. But
no, I don't think the plane exists. I wouldn't be surprised if they put him in the gear in some sort of version of the plane.
Yeah.
So he's flying a plane.
No, I don't think so. I feel like that's probably one of the only bits of flying in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's a fucking it's a like top secret stealth fighter that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Or is made up for the film. Like let's just put it that way.
I think that no one's ever. I think it's the whole like no one has hit Mach 10. It's Mach 9, I think.
So that's not to take away from any of the
other
stuff.
but it's the scene itself. It's just like
intense,
amazing. You're watching this guy drive in a straight line, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah.
And all it is doing is cutting between showing that, and him in the cockpit, and then the actual thing, and it's so well shot amongst all of it. You're like you at one point you're literally getting excited about numbers changing.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you really break it down, and obviously. Yeah. It's not about that. If you really, you could do that of any movie. But if you really broke it down, what you are watching on a screen and what's making you get like goosebumpy, it's literally you're watching numbers go up with no real concept of what's happening other than that means fast.
And shaky cam of Tom Cruise in a cockpit.
Noise, and just the noise and stuff. You're like, I'm really invested in this. And then when he's pushing it, and you know he's going to hit Mach 10.
Yeah.
And you know from where the line that
Hundo he's called.
Hondo.
Yeah.
Hondo feeds him. You know he's going to go beyond that Mach 10 before he even goes up there. You know he's going to hit it and go past it. That's the point. Because you go Mach 10, don't sit like they wouldn't have put that in there otherwise. But it doesn't matter. You're still like, oh my god, is he going to hit Mach 10?
Yeah.
So well done in that way. And it's they needed something to get him in trouble. Last time it was about him taking some risks and making it into Top Gun. This one was he took a risk, got in trouble. Was about to get kicked out, and then General Iceman.
Yeah.
No, Admiral Iceman.
No, Lieutenant it is, actually.
But when he turns up, he says, hello, Admiral. That's what I thought was because, on the wall, when he walks in, it says Commander.
Yeah.
But then when he goes to him, he says, hello or something, Admiral.
Right.
But I don't know if it was a joke or not, but I was under the impression...
Maybe he is an Admiral, but I'm just going on the IMDb listing here, but...
I know, it might be that. It might be he was just joking, I don't know. But he... it sounds like you find out later on he's actually he's spent his entire career getting in trouble and doing what he's not supposed to, and then...
God damn it, Maverick.
And then I said, God damn it, Maverick!
Yeah.
For the era that perfected God damn it, the Top Gun movie is the film that perfected the perfection of it.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
It's just like, oh...
Yeah,
so he gets in trouble, and then this one is him about almost being sent back there. But not
well, at first you feel like he when he says that you're being called back to Top Gun, you feel immediately you think to teach. Yeah. But then it's like revealed later, or like pretty much in the next scene, really, that he did teach for 3 months.
Yeah, 2 months. He says, and it didn't go well.
In typical Maverick fashion, he's just like, it's just like didn't go well.
He very much had that meeting where, like, I feel like it was either a Stern telling off, but in my head, it's just the scene from IT Crowd where he just went into an office. It's not for you.
Yeah.
It's not for you, Peter. It's not for you.
It's yeah, and then so when he is called to Top Gun, we have our initial. Well, there is a lot of back and forth between these two characters. We have our initial meeting of Maverick, and Maverick having jabs and a bit of one-on-one verbal with Don Draper himself, John Hamm, who I thought was really good in this.
So good. Do you know the most impressive thing about his performance was how much he managed to, I wouldn't say dial it back because the charisma was there, but he had to. I feel like he had to hold back how much we like him. John Hamm, you just see him and like him. Yeah. So he must have fought every ounce of him to just be like, hold back the charisma, the natural charisma that John Hamm. I loved, again, much like with Ed Harris, John Hamm. If I see John Hamm, I'm generally quite happy, and then because it's going to be a good performance, and they always deliver.
Hasn't been in a lot lately, but it was good to see him. And he plays he looks the role.
Yeah.
I mean, his initial breakthrough role in Hollywood was in We Are Soldiers with Mel Gibson.
Oh, I thought it was...
Which was initially... so that was probably around 2003, I think that film came out. Maybe a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit later. But like he was like ready to give up on acting at that point, because he was a lecturer of drama, of acting, and he said he gave it 10 years, and if he didn't make it, then he would just go back to teaching, I guess, or something else. And he was given it's a very like kind of second or third string role. But yeah, he was in We Are Soldiers with Mel Gibson. Great film, I really like that.
And then
film.
From there, is it that they got him mad?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of years later, and then he from where he started his big time career, I'd say.
Yeah.
He's gone kind of full circle from being in the army to being in the navy.
The navy, yeah. But if I didn't. I feel like I guess he has kind of got a cop face, but I don't think I realised it.
Some people might see that as an insult.
No, but like Ed Harris, they just look like soldiers. Like some of that. I don't think I realised about John Hamm until I saw this.
I feel like it's the square jaw.
It's the square jaw, isn't it? And he's got the hair, like the
he pulls off a short haircut.
Yeah, it's just something. But he does have a bit of a cop face, and even the way he talks and stuff in it is like, obviously it's the acting.
I feel like I don't think it's like I wouldn't say a cop face. I'd say it's more like an authoritative like demeanor.
Is that not what a cop face is?
No, let's not say that. But he's just got he's just got a presence. He? So
he absolutely looked like he was in the military. Yeah, it suited very well.
You could totally buy even the way that it's subtly hinted at and then just kind of said towards the end of their first meeting that he was the first place in Top Gun, I think 2 years or like 3 years later.
It was like 2 years, like in 80s, something like that. Yeah,
and you can totally buy it.
What was his call sign?
I think he was Viper, wasn't he?
He might have been Viper.
No, I feel like Viper was actually a secondary character in the first Top Gun.
I think so. I think there's so many.
Yeah,
I love them all. If you do the credits at the end of the first one and this one as well. And you see some of the names, they're so cool.
They've got real people's call signs, haven't they? Who they trained with at the end of the first one.
Yeah, that's probably why. Yeah.
Can't remember if they did that in the second one in the credits. We didn't really stay.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I think it was. Oh, that might be interesting actually. These call signs were good. They lived up to
Cyclone.
That's it. Jeez, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's not a bad one to have.
I mean, if I was going to go for Cyclone, I would just change it to Hurricane though.
Probably take them.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely take them.
Yeah, actually.
I would like Hurricane because it's my favourite British jet.
Although doing Hurricane would be, you'd be a bit tempting fate to getting in a spin. Like in the first one, the whole reason why Goose dies. Is they get into a spin from something like an air trap or something.
Something like that in it. Yeah, it's something like that.
I'm not a naval man.
No, I'm not an air fighter.
Yeah, so you
have to have some like signature where you go round or something like that.
Like you do like when Mav and Goose go inverted at the beginning of the first one. That's like your signature move. You go inverted over the top of like another aircraft. And then you do like a 360 all the way around.
Spin a minute.
God, that'd be class. But anyway, Hurricane was probably taken.
If you were, I was just when the Hurricane is probably reserved for Hurricane or Spitfire would be the British guy that came to Top Gun. They'd be called Spitfire or Hurricane.
We've got one guy and he's from like they'd say he's from like they'd say he's probably from like Manchester or something, but he'd end up having a Cockney accent.
Yeah, or he'd be from London, but actually he's from Hertfordshire.
Yeah. I'm talking because it's an 80s movie.
Yeah, no, actually would have been.
And Americans just can't tell the difference.
He's from Manchester.
Yeah.
All right, lads.
I feel like that would be one of the times, like we've said this before, where it's where they're like, we need to go to Birmingham, England, and like before the scene transitions, all you can hear is like bab 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 bab, London calling. It's like they're not going anywhere near it. That's what would happen. They'd be like, he's from like Lancashire, like Manchester in Lancashire, and it's like they he'd like walk in with a boombox that's playing London's Calling, like it's just because that's the only yeah. So I mean, having John Hamm, his performance as like Ed Harris set the table as like Grizzly higher in command than Maverick, who's just like, you know, internally is like, God damn it, Maverick. God damn it, Maverick. So, but then, you know, Ed Harris laid the table for then John Hamm to sit and eat.
Yeah.
So, you know, he was great at it, because you could actually see the even though you're rooting for Maverick because he's just he's the antagonist. He's Maverick. Why do we need to explain anymore? But yeah, the reason why, you know, like, I understand the motivations for John Hamm's character is because you can kind of understand where he's coming from. Like, there's a lot of pressure, obviously, on all of them. Yeah. And, you know, not to sound too cliche, but, you know, Top Gun is like a cliche-ridden, not franchise, but two films. So, you know, not to be too cliche, but like there's like a lot on the line, and everyone's feeling the pressure, and like, you know, it's all a bit close to the edge. And he's like, he is like a maverick in terms of being a teacher. Oh, you know, especially his methods. Yeah. So you can understand where John Hamm's character is coming from when he's goddamn it Maverick. You know,
I feel like it's because we've both done some level of management.
Yeah, I feel like
if this us 10 years ago, it would have been like us sort of like, God, that John Hamm, you could just let him get on with it. But we're kind of like, but it's all on him, and like if he doesn't.
And if this doesn't go right, then like the unnamed superpower of unknown origin, communists, conglomerate country, will have more uranium and like more unsanctioned nuclear weapons. So it's
if you've ever done any management, you do have a bit of empathy for John Hamm's
100%. Yeah, you're literally just, even as you're watching it, you're just internally, you just whisper, you're just like, God damn it, Maverick. Just, you know, you're just like, just do things by the book, you know.
I would say that, but also it was, I think, the most movie part of this, but again, it's not a bad thing. I like it, and it absolutely what it says, where like it was very much like, right, this character is there to completely disagree with everything he does. Yeah. Obviously, it's prevalent. Like once later on in the film, just jumping ahead a bit, where he's like, there's a whole thing where like, you're not doing this anymore. You're done. Yeah. He literally the next day goes and undoes his entire flight plan. Yeah. After it had been explained, you're like, and you're even in that moment, I'm like, I don't think you do that. Yeah. Not so much. Yeah. You'd put it back a little bit, or go, right, we're going to try this, but he literally. It was literally like, right, you know that thing you've been learning for weeks, and I know why you've been learning it. We're not doing it because I don't like that guy. Yeah. It was very much. That's like, not very good.
That's not very good reason. If he had to go to his higher ups,
it was very much like it was for a movie's sake, and you know what? Fucking loved it because it led into one of the best scenes, which you've now seen.
I have now seen
because motherfucker went toilet during one of the best scenes.
Went for a piss at the wrong time.
I know. Do you know? I don't know. The thing is, though, I don't know. Even though it wasn't necessarily that scene. The scene before was a pretty good storytelling scene with him and Goose. I don't know when you would have gone. Like, right? I don't. It's not you could have gone before or after. It was literally like it was you made a choice. You've seen it again now, so
and and honestly, it's I
love it.
I see. I'm quite when it comes to that. I'm quite strategic.
Yeah.
Usually, I'm like, right. There's and I know beats of films. I've seen enough movies to usually get it quite right.
Yeah,
so
this one came out of nowhere.
Especially when, with MCU
you
movies.
Thought you had at least another scene of Maverick down on his luck.
Yes.
You thought you had one more scene of Tom Cruise in his crisis of confidence.
I thought I had a good.
There was no beautiful women in sight.
Yeah, I thought I had a good 300 seconds to get into the loo. He hadn't go for a piss and then come back.
Seen the beautiful woman yet to snap him out of his crisis. Yeah,
or he hadn't. They hadn't had like the well, in this case, non-gratuitous, like basically non-sex scene.
Yeah. Do you know what? When they went into that scene, I was like, this. I know it's really silly, but I kind of went. I really don't want them to do a proper full-on love-making scene because I don't think it fits this film. And so what they did with
it fit the original, and it fit the original at the time.
Yeah, this one was kind of like, and especially because of their relationship and how it was being dressed up, it was nice. It was more like, it wasn't about like, two young kids getting together and hooking up. It was like, there was like a grown-up depth to their relationship
because they are in their 50s.
Exactly, yeah. But but like it was like, this wasn't. You didn't want to just see like, he finally gets to sleep with her. That wasn't the point.
Plus, you'd also established that they have done this all before.
Oh no, yeah, nothing. So someone pointed out to me in the first film, there's a bit where they're listing all the things Maverick's done, and one of them was sleep with an admiral's daughter. And Goose leans over and says, "Isn't that Penny girl?" or something like that. So this is who that is. So she was actually before. Ooh. So it was even a character that was originally mentioned, which is good. I like that because obviously, otherwise he had 2 months to break up with the love of his life, apparently, and then have on and off a relationship with this person in 2 months.
That is good storytelling. Yeah. And if I'm going to be honest, I'm here for the real MCU. That's the Maverick cinematic universe. So if they're going to have like Goose spin-offs, or just like how Rodriguez got her wings, or if they're going to do like how Hangman got the real nickname or call sign of like Bagman. Yeah. I'm here for it because I'm sure it'll be a more mature and a more in tone with what I'd like to see at this particular point in my life, and what I like in terms of cinema. Yeah, the real MCU has just started.
The Maverick cinematic universe, up for it. But so I liked that. So it cut a scene. It showed a little bit of but then it just cut to them. And I like, again, it was just a really instead of being like, let's have a sexy scene. It was like, it was sweet.
It was
good. Yeah. Which I think that again, it fitted their relationship.
They had the very the shot of Jennifer Connelly, who's great in this movie. Yeah, honestly,
she's amazing, by the way. She picks it up.
Great actress, and not to go there straight away, but she looks fantastic.
Oh yeah.
So she really.
You feel like she was there in the first one.
Yeah, she doesn't feel out of place as a character who wasn't in the first one could have felt. Yeah. Like the potential was there for Jennifer Connelly just to be like, "Hey, Mav, remember the time when?" And everyone just be like, "No." Like, so just.
She's so good as an expedition.
She was good at filling in a few blanks, like you said, exposition dumping. But it was good. Yeah, she was fantastic. I don't think there was anyone in this movie who was a little bit like rubbish.
They had a generic teenage kid that was only in it for a couple of scenes, and I didn't hate them.
That's true. Yeah.
She was okay.
And that is usually something
I go straight to. I do not like teenage kids.
Yeah, just kids who are trying to interact with adults. Yeah. And it just not meshing well. But I feel like
done well.
Her daughter was good in this.
Yeah, she was okay. She was only a little bit of it. She was there. She had a purpose. It wasn't just like, she's got a daughter, that sort of thing like that. It was.
And they didn't go down the route of which they usually do when they have young or teenage sons and daughters, and just whenever the person who's not a parent is on screen, they just like scoff and run away, or just like they're just like playing on like a fucking Nintendo DS or something, and they just like walk off, or they got like headphones on and they're just like, I don't want this situation. Like they actually had the character talk. Yeah, they actually had the character
personality.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a generic teenage personality.
Which is like rare.
And even then managed to do like, this is why like there was even like one line story arcs in an extent. So in this, didn't need to be in it when he's talking. After they like. The scene where he stayed at hers and they're in the bed and they're talking, and he says, "You and Amelia seem really close," and she goes, like, just in that little bit there, you get a whole thing of like, they've obviously gone through a bit of a rough patch. They don't explain why. You can make your assumptions why, something like that, but now since she's been older, they've been a bit closer. So like that done. Just in that little brief pillow talk there, it was like an entire story arc done. You're like, and it adds depth. Lovely bit of depth, but it doesn't take over.
It means you care a little bit more about each of the characters.
Exactly, yeah. You're like, oh, okay, that's cool. Even the Hangman story arc, which is sort of like takes place of the whole thing. Not, as I say, didn't add anything to the main story really, but it was brilliant. He had his own little like story arc going on, and it was like
the new kids on the block, they are all really good.
Oh yeah. You don't hate any of them for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
Obviously, you even Hangman. I don't hate him.
No.
I really enjoyed watching him.
I feel like there is. Obviously, they wanted to do parallels between Hangman and Iceman.
Yeah.
But what they did was they set it up so that you were thinking he's like Iceman 2.0.
Yeah.
But he honestly just is confident and is just again kind of like Iceman. But I feel like Iceman like veered into like antagonist territory more.
Yeah.
Because he was more of a main character, I think.
Yeah.
And with Hangman, he is just like, I'm actually just like really good.
Yeah.
And he can back it up.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, he does need to be like taught a few things, obviously.
Yeah.
It's the whole point is like they're not ready for this mission. No one is.
No one is. Yeah.
That's the line. So, you know, I feel like he does have an arc. It's not as much as Iceman because he's not as integral a character.
Yeah.
I mean, he is and he isn't, which is really hard to describe.
No, I get it, yeah.
But
well, it is literally that his whole thing is that he leaves you high to dry and gets the job done.
I say he's not an integral character, but he literally saves their life at the end of the day.
But then he didn't leave them high and dry. It was literally that's all it was.
Yeah,
that sort of thing. It was.
He actually learned to. His was pretty much like. Really, more like Maverick's arc, where he's had to learn to be in a team.
Yeah.
So, and then he also did. They also didn't, which is like loads of things in here are refreshing because it's what you want to happen in the back of your mind, but because of how we've been conditioned watching films over the last 30 years or like beyond, really. Is like, oh, he's definitely going to take the rejection of not being of the main four in the mission. He's going to take that really badly, and he's going to be like all stroppy, and he's going to be like, yeah, well, it should be me up there, like typical like macho stuff that I reckon would have been in the first movie, and was pretty much. But in this, he was just like, good luck. Like you could tell he's disappointed, but. He's just like, good luck, give him hell. Like it's quite refreshing for the person who you feel is like a bit of an antagonist. He's not like a main one.
He's the toxic one.
Yeah, literally.
But he's not.
He's not really.
Even that bit where Goose's whole thing is that he won't go fast. He's basically not dangerous enough. Essentially, Goose's whole thing is Goose. You're great. Rooster, sorry, Goose's son. Rooster, you're great, but you're not dangerous enough.
Yeah, I know,
essentially, that is the thing. Literally, his lesson is to stop thinking. Yeah. He's a fighter pilot, but his lesson is to stop thinking.
His lesson is to literally just like stop being in your own mind.
His lesson is use the force.
It pretty much is. Yeah.
It's literally like the stop transit, use the force, Rooster.
And all of that is done expertly by Miles Teller, who is just. So good. I feel like one of the next big leading men.
Yes, absolutely.
Next to Chalamet, even though I feel like they'll be on different courses because I don't think Chalamet would necessarily be like an action hero. Saying that Dune Part 2 coming in like 2-3 years, so
that's sort of action.
It's a little bit different.
But it's such a thing. I think he will be a little bit of a Chris Evans.
Do you reckon?
Where he is dark, he will absolutely touch on the action and he'll do the action movie. Maybe even play a superhero or something like that. But we'll also.
He already has been a superhero.
I know, yeah, exactly.
Technically,
and he's a favourite for. Apparently, the fan favourite thing is they just want him to play a space hero. They don't care who it is, and they want him to play Green Lantern or Nova.
Yeah,
so,
I heard that.
But Marvel or DC don't care. They just want to play a space hero. So, okay.
I'd actually just love him not to be.
No, that's fine. Stay away from it. Just keep away from the superhero stuff. But I think he'll also do, like Chris Evans does. He'll do not serious roles, but
just
he'll do
dramas
serious roles as well. He'll do dramas. He does a few of those weird comedies, like stories. Knives Out and stuff. Where like basically acting roles as well as the superhero roles, sort of thing like that. I feel like he's going to be that. Where Chalamet might be a little bit more epics and that thing. But yeah, they're definitely
I feel like
keep an eye on.
Definitely
keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like
I would say from this, the girl who plays Phoenix as well, and do you know what? The starting the main 6, including Maverick in this.
right.
So Phoenix, Hangman, Maverick, Rooster. I want to say Coyote because his name's mentioned a lot, but maybe not so much Coyote.
I mean, Bob's...
Maybe, but he's not. I don't think he's a key. He's big. Obviously, he's one of the top ones in this. Yeah, maybe Bob.
Yeah.
But there was definitely 4 that stood out. To be honest, it was out of the newbies. It was Hangman, Rooster, and Maverick. Hangman, Rooster, and Phoenix. They're probably the top, the big 3. That kind of like they're the. So you do hit Coyote is there quite a bit, but he's like. But I feel like then him and Bob are another level.
Yeah.
And then Hangman's kind of like second. Was another one, but I feel like those top 3. I think we're gonna. Hopefully, this is a bit of a spurt for all of their careers because they were all absolutely fantastic.
And they are the ones who had to learn to do cinematography and camera operation.
Yes, absolutely.
Because there was no room definitely no room in that cockpit for a director or a camera operator or a first AD or second AD.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah,
the fact that they were giving it. You got just think of it now that you've got some like young actors.
Yeah.
Going out into their acting at the beginning of their acting careers now with some like genuine, serious, tricky cinematography knowledge. That is gonna just pay off. That's just gonna pay off down the line.
There was also no shots where I was like, "Well, that looks a bit dodge." All of it was top notch.
No, absolutely. Like it was almost. I want to say it's experimental filming, but I don't know much other filming done this way. Maybe in documentaries about fighter piloting. I suppose. Maybe. Yeah. But it's in a movie. It was very original for its sort of thing, and it was. And you do see the difference between the first one and this, where you can see the sky and stuff around them. And the breathing. The good. With Maverick when he's doing the route is.
I mean, they do have a bit of that in the first one, like especially in the first one, right at the beginning when the guy is having a breakdown and he can't fly the plane, he can't land the plane, and that bit is, and the thing that gets me, that is a good way of portraying that, I guess, is just like the lighting and the heavy breathing. I feel like it's something that, if you were having a nervous breakdown, having a bit of I think it's just a panic attack. But it's a big one because you're flying.
He's in a fighter pilot, and that's if you're going to die of a panic attack in the worst way possible. It's there. If there's a bad time to have a panic attack, and
that's flying an F-14 or F-15 and having a panic attack and crashing it into the water and killing yourself.
They do a bit of didn't they, with the goose scene.
They had a double fake out.
Fake out.
I mean, I was just like, crikey. They were like, oh, it's like you've seen lots of flying in the film so far, and then they're just like, oh, something goes wrong, and then you're just like, oh shit, like because here's the thing. I feel like it was a good thing to do. Reason being is because I bet if they were writing it, and Iceman dies.
Yeah.
And you're a little bit like, well, some of those shots probably going to be in the trailer.
Yeah.
So you would be like, because I went into it.
Genuinely from the trailer, they show a funeral scene in the trailer, and I thought one of them dies.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be. It is Coyote that has a.
Coyote has. He
passes out.
Yeah, he passes out. He gets caught up in the. He just goes on a spin.
It's the G's. With the going so high so quick, and then when they do the dive, it's either when they go into the canyon or out. I think it's out.
Practice.
Yeah, for getting out.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And so I'm
so glad they had one.
Yeah,
because the whole point of this is it's supposed to be like
impossible.
Everyone will be struggling not to pass out.
It's an impossible mission.
The Tom Cruise multiverse.
Yeah, so it was good that they had, because they were talking about it like, oh, it's a really hard mission, and
if all of them had not passed out, it just would have been a bit like. Oh.
It was a little bit like, yeah, they can't do it, but like before that there was no real like danger.
Yeah.
And then when you saw what it does to your body, what it does to your brain, basically.
Yeah.
Made the stakes even bigger.
Yeah. Which I think the difference between this movie and the first one as well is the stakes, as much even if you don't really feel them because of the tone and stuff like that, the stakes are given very early on, and they are quite serious stakes. Like you said, that first meeting between Cyclone and Maverick, it's literally the reason we're having this mission is because uranium is being like dropped off, and it's
unnamed communist country is building weapons of mass destruction and enriching uranium underground,
and we need to stop it happening. And it's like, so it's like it is big, and not even that, even ignore the mission actually side of it, but the line where it comes later on where it's like you just need to teach him to do this mission and destroy that bunker, and he's like, and come home, sir. And he's like, what? He's like, and come home. And he's like, look, they know the risks. It's good enough for them. And he's like, well, not for me.
Yeah,
love that line. God damn
it, Don Draper.
So even that, it's like, oh, this is a suicide. It is a suicide mission. It's the idea is it is like as much. It'd be great if they came home. It was very much like we are sending our best pilots because they're the only ones that can do it. But at the same time, we're sending our best pilots because chances are even they aren't coming home. And that's how it works. So it's not great, but I love the whole that Maverick's like, his maverickness goes into like, well, I don't care. That's not good enough for me. People will live. It's very Doctor Who. Like everyone lives today. Yeah. That kind of like, and it was I liked that. I really liked that. So the stakes are there, but then in that scene where they're doing the run and the stuff like that, and one of them, like, the G's happening when he just spins out. Is he spinning out at that point?
He's not really spinning.
He's just going down, isn't he? He's just literally like, he's just velocity's dropping. You're very much like, oh, okay, cool, okay, shit, this is... And Coyote's, what they've done very cleverly is it's one of the more competent ones.
Yes,
He's literally one of the ones in the Prevalent in Your Eye, and if Coyote went out, it's a bit like, okay, he seemed like the more steady-headed one.
And then they basically just, the second that it all calms down, there's like a flock of seagulls.
Yeah.
Bird attack. And then that's it. Like one flies into the engine of one
Phoenix
of the things.
Bob.
Yeah. So
that was weird about this one. I don't know if it's changed since the last one. There are single fighter pilot planes and there are double fighter pilot planes.
I feel like in both movies there's.
Is that how it was? No, because even Maverick was with Merlin at the end, right?
Yeah.
So Iceman was with his wingman, his pilot, and Maverick was with Merlin.
Maybe it was just maybe there was.
Is it a modern airplane thing? Or
obviously
Hangman's on his own, Rooster's on his own, and Maverick's on his own.
Yeah.
But then Bob and Phoenix are together. Coyote and can't remember who Coyote's with. It's the other name as well.
Because in terms of the mission, there's each part of the formation has one single seater and one double, because they need a weapons something for
the guy does
the targeting
camera, which is Bob
in Phoenix with Phoenix.
Yeah, Bob and
can't remember for the other ones.
Who does it for? It's whoever's in the plane with Coyote.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
But
it's another good one as well.
Yeah, so it's I mean, I maybe thinking back, I think all of the fighters in the first one took dual seaters.
I think they were all
But in this one, just for the mission, you just need one person for the front of the dagger.
Another show of the tech, stuff like that. It also kind of made possible a few more scenes, like where they get stuck and that.
Yeah.
It was only putting two of them.
Because you can't really have Goose and someone else
showing up. If you imagine like the guy who was just in the plane with Goose when he shows up to save Maverick, and the guy just like...
And they're like, kind of only got two seats in there.
Oh yeah, the fly home scene, obviously.
Yeah,
that was... Managed to get an F-15. Or was it Is it F-14?
I can't remember which.
Something like that, what do they call it from the first one? F-14? M14? No, M14
no,
is a gun,
it's
F.
F.
That's a gun, I think. But so the double fake out was good. I feel that double fake out, obviously it's not the same at all, but it has that same kind of vibe as the Negan scene with the bat. So we're expecting it.
Yeah.
So we know it's coming.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like when you're writing it, or whoever wrote this, I will get to credits. But I feel like they might have been looking at that and feeling like at some point in the process they were like, there's going to be a trailer and there's going to be a scene where someone's died, whether it be like shots of the funeral or just like the coffin, something like that. And they're just like, well, in this movie, let's just have like one scene where you think it's going to be this person and it's not. And then we do like a double fake out where you're like, oh, it is this person. And then again, it's not. Usually, I think that would like not piss me off, but I'd be a bit like, oh, that's a bit, it's a bit weird.
A bit of a cop out.
But 100% works in this because of the story and because of the stakes,
and
because they've explained that like this mission is like the most extreme of all like missions. Like it's so grandiose. It's like this is the most impossible mission. Like it's all to do with like nuclear weapons and falling into the wrong hands. So it's very much like the stakes. As we've said, are just extraordinarily high.
And I feel like even in that last scene, you're still expecting a plane to go down.
Yeah. I mean, the way that they've been building it up over the course of the whole movie, especially with
no one does in the end,
especially with Cyclone being like, he has to be like reminded that like everyone should come home. Where he's just like, they're expendable.
There is very much that attitude. Again, there's a little bit of a character growth there because he at the end.
Well, has that attitude. He really has that attitude up until the point where, Rooster has disobeyed orders basically, and gone to try and retrieve Maverick. And it's only really at that point, and something you see off screen for good reason, where he obviously allows Hangman to deploy, basically, which would have had to come from him. So you're a little bit like,
well, I wasn't sure.
No, 100%. You can't just like. I know it happens in this movie, but if you're on an aircraft carrier, you can't just.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You can't just have one person be like, "I'm off." It's very much a team effort. So, and you'd have to have orders for everyone else to go.
I've gone out there. No one can stop me. Could someone just clear the runway for me? Set up the pipes.
It's not a video game. This is not Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly.
So it's. You see that you don't see that, it's off screen. That must have happened. But you know why it was off screen? To create tension for Hangman saving them.
Even in the scenes where they were cutting back to the room where they're following him, you can see he's starting to get more. He becomes concerned. Sort of thing.
So that is Cyclone's arc, really. Is going from someone who was literally like, it's a suicide mission, but we got to do it, to even at the very last minute still being like this is the mission, like we're not losing any more people, which again you're a little bit like probably don't want to do that, like he's for the film's sake I'm like, you bastard, but like in real terms I'm just like, he's goddamn right, so there's a reason why Cyclone is in charge of this mission, so come on, like I'm torn.
Even I feel like even that is a bit of the arc itself, where Maverick goes down and they lost him and he calls them home and they're like, they want to go find him. He's like, no, he's then gone from the suicide mission. Or even then, I suppose that's not growth. That's just showing him. He's just not like, he doesn't see them as expendable. He just sees that if that's the only way, that's we've got to do it. But if we're in a situation where we're all clear, you're coming home, one is down, but the rest of you are fine. I want you all coming home. Like he's very much. He's not that evil where he's just like,
no, he's not evil.
Do you know what? So he's not that dark or cut off. That it's like, do you know what? Yeah, we can expend one more. It's like, oh no, the mission. It was unlikely, but that's your guy's job. I do it. I expect you to do it. That's it. You're all clear. There's no danger anymore. There's no reason for you all not to come home. I want you to come home. That isn't like, I like that, but goddamn Rooster. It gets dangerous.
It's too much Maverick in you Rooster.
He stops thinking.
It's
because that's the key to success as a fighter pilot, guys. Don't think. Don't
Yeah,
think.
I know, right?
When you fly, don't think. All you pilots out there that want to be in Top Gun, just stop thinking.
What film is it where it's like, feel, don't think, use your instincts is the line? And I'm like,
it's not the NASCAR one with Tom Cruise, is it?
Oh, no, not Days of Thunder, no. Let me just quickly Google that. I think it's like Qui-Gon Jinn or something. So basically, Maverick is using Qui-Gon Jinn's.
So it is Star Wars. I was going to say, it's not, Obi-Wan doesn't say it to Luke, but very much the whole thing of it is, use the Force, Luke.
Yeah, literally, it's a line from Qui-Gon Jinn to Anakin Skywalker when he's doing pod racing. So literally, Maverick is a huge prequels mark.
Yes. Yeah, he thought Maverick is like, do you want it? It checks. Top Gun is George's favourite movie.
Right.
Yeah. Qui-Gon is George's favourite Jedi.
Right.
So, but the reason George likes Top Gun is because he basically sees himself as Maverick.
Yeah, right.
Who loves Qui-Gon.
Right.
Maverick loves Qui-Gon. There you go.
Oh, God.
George, you might
It's
be
a
Maverick.
bit of a stretch. Right?
No, absolutely. But yeah.
Yeah, so basically Maverick is a huge fan of Qui-Gon Jinn and the prequel movies.
Who isn't?
And he uses it to basically do the mission. Yeah.
His whole teaching methodology
to get Rooster on board,
to
get Rooster out of his mind, out of his head, and like out of his grey area, is to basically just quote Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah,
right. That's interesting.
Absolutely, I'm all for it. We should be living our lives from the wisdom of Qui-Gon Jinn anyway. So if they want to apply it to fighter pilot training,
it's been going to be handed down by generations from Pete Maverick Mitchell.
Maverick to Rooster. Rooster will do to his kids now, and it all just
to little Chicklet, whatever the call sign for his little.
What's
to
he
whatever the next one would be.
Rooster. It's going to be
Eggman.
Eggman. Just another bird.
Yeah. I mean, it's
duck. Just one really misses the mark.
Just
and I misunderstand.
Ducky.
Himself duck.
Yes, just Ducky.
No, because Ducky's still a bit catchy.
Yeah.
It's just duck.
Duck.
Like, oh.
He'll be getting questions like, why do they call you Duck? Like Bob does.
Duck.
Anyway, I feel like the film is a great continuation, but with just taking the ethos of the last movie without having to really try and copy and paste it. Because the first Top Gun is 80s cheese to the maximum.
Well, are we going to address the main differences in the
okay, so Top Gun is super gay.
Super gay. We've had this conversation, and it's not bad.
No, not at all.
I think it seems silly that we were even like defend ourselves on saying gay means bad.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's just super gay.
It's the most homoerotic film.
Possibly one of the most homoerotic films to exist. The sexual tension between Maverick and Iceman is insane.
They made some bold choices in terms of being like, right, in this scene, no one's going to have any real clothes on.
Yeah.
So it's like...
The scene...
How do you get away with that in any other film where they're just like, right... So, you turn up to set and, you're just like, well, what are we shooting today? It's like, right, okay. So you're actually at the school and you're just out of the shower, all 5 of you, all 6 of you. It's like, right, okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, just in the locker room. Like, who hasn't filmed a locker room scene?
Yeah.
And it's just like, right, you're all just wearing towels. What? Like, let me just stop you right there. Like, is there any, chance... I know they're like muscular people, so like showing it off is just what you would do.
Yeah,
if I had a 6-pack, I would.
Yeah.
So you can understand that, but in the reasoning, you're just like, but why? But why are we just having this conversation half naked? I mean, there's no other answer, but they were just like, it's kind of like because we want it to be just as homoerotic as possible,
I feel like what came first. The scene. I feel like they showed the volleyball scene to Kenny Loggins and went, "I need you to write a song for this scene."
Yeah,
playing with the boys.
Yeah, and
he's fire playing with the boys. That's the lyrics.
That is the lyrics. So again, it's just but then you think about that and you're like, they didn't really translate any of that to the next one.
No,
I feel like that is one of the reasons why I was like, it's taking Top Gun and it's literally just moving it into 2022.
Yeah.
It's not even like trying to copy it. It's just these characters have moved from the mid 80s to 2022 or 2020 probably.
Yeah.
I mean this movie was like destined to not release, and it did 2 years, about 2 years after its original release date.
Yeah, there was 3 release dates in the end.
I believe the original release date was my birthday, 2020.
July. It was July.
So
I think it was late July. Yeah.
might have been just a day before actually.
Yeah,
because
I think so.
That was the plan.
I think so. Yeah.
That was the plan, was to go see Top Gun.
Yeah.
And here we are 2 years removed, and well worth the wait.
So worth the wait. So I can't believe how well they did. I can believe it. I keep saying I can't believe it, but I can, because Tom Cruise has done it before.
Yeah.
We've said it with the Mission Impossible franchise. It's the Mission Impossible franchise is somehow, we forget it's there, but it's been going since the 90s, and it's on its 8th movie.
I think the new one will be 7.
7 movies.
I could be wrong.
But they just don't release it as frequently. But it's never really stopped, and they've just always done it, and they got better. They literally got better. There's a bit of a slump. Some people say 2, some say 3.
See, I feel like it's got a little bit of everything in terms of styles. Like, if you like the style of John Woo and its zero connectivity to the rest of the Mission Impossible franchise, I believe there are people who like that. And I'm okay with it.
I like 2 as a movie, but I get why it doesn't fit with the rest of Mission Impossible.
First one with like Brian De Palma, so it was very much, they were trying to get quite close to the TV show. Yeah. But like 90s action movie.
I don't know enough about the TV show to know, to be honest. But...
I mean, it's definitely got that feel about it. If you've seen a bit of it, it's more like it does feel, especially the first half, feel a little bit like the first half feels like a TV episode plot.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's interesting, because then you would have gone into that movie, been a fan of the TV show, seeing them play out the way it did, and then obviously it all completely falls apart. That would have been really interesting as a fan to go and see, because you're watching like what you're used to, and then it's but it's not the same in this, because imagine the TV show always works out and that sort of shit. But in this, they do it, and it all just completely fucking falls apart. That'd be fucking brilliant to see.
In terms of the Mission Impossible franchise, again, it's had its ups and downs. And it's had its rejuvenation. With 4 onwards. And I'm gonna put it out there that the new Mission Impossible trailer is my favourite trailer.
You've said that
in the last 10 years.
Yeah, you said
minimum
that,
of the last 10 years.
Incredible. We saw it when we went to see this movie.
And honestly, it's
got the same prep. Like I said, I keep saying as well. Hayley Atwell and I don't remember her name. The blonde girl from Hobbs and Shaw, plays Shaw's sister basically. Her and Hayley Atwell were in this movie. They're like the last few movies. There's like Henry Cavill was the sort of guest star, like almost like a guest star, don't they?
Yeah.
I think he had to do similar.
Vanessa
stuff.
Kirby is
that's
the
it.
one
Vanessa Kirby. They're the 2 like guest additions, I guess, to this, or possibly new team members. Jeremy Renner was one, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, is he still part of the team actually?
No. He hasn't. He wasn't in the last.
Yeah. But they have been doing like base jumping. No, maybe not base jumping, like abseiling,
they've been doing
skydiving, stunts, like almost stunt training to an extent, or just experiencing. It seems to be a Tom Cruise thing when it's his movies. He gets you to at least experience the thing that your character does.
Experience the Tom Cruise life.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it's a little bit of
the Tom Cruise way.
Every day is Tom Cruise sort of thing like that. But
this trailer, I was like, I can't believe this. It's a little bit unusual that they would release a trailer a whole year and a month before it's actually released.
And just in the nature of that, just to be in tone with that, the Mission Impossible 2 Wheels podcast is coming in a year. Just
oh
before.
yeah, of course, yeah.
We'll do a trailer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's coming when we get to Dead Reckoning Part 1, because they've done this. It's very. It's got some cojones, this, for releasing a trailer for a movie a year and a bit before it comes out, and it's a part 1 of 2 movies.
Motherfuckers!
I'm just like, wow, that takes some brass. Yeah. So, and I mean, it looks great. Honestly, I feel like the music in it is great. That what they've revealed and what they have, you can tell that they haven't. They basically just packed it with action. Yeah. Like there's no bits that are like the important plot points.
No,
it's just trailer, like what trailers used to be.
I feel like I've seen a few like that now. Even though we saw what did we watch the other day? Oh, Just the World. The trailer for that, I'd almost forgotten.
Jesus, that reaction.
But we saw I've not seen the up-to-date Thor trailer yet.
Yeah.
And I was a bit worried when it came on. And as much as it gave a little bit of a look into this, I still have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I don't think it gave much away.
It does seem like there's been a few. I don't want to. I'm still always going to be skeptical because of Civil War and Ragnarok now. But it does seem that trailers are starting to reel it back a bit, at least cinema ones or teaser and first release trailers, where they give you a taste, but you have no real idea what to expect. I mean, with this movie, with Top Gun, when we went and saw Doctor Strange, I think it was,
yes,
we got an entire scene from this movie, and I saw Doctor Strange twice, so I saw that scene twice. It was my third time watching the scene in this time round. Still absolutely fantastic. It wasn't like, this scene I can do but I was literally like, it's a brilliant scene to show you, because it gives you a bit of an idea of who everyone is, but not really. And it was such a good scene to watch. The one where they're doing the first practice flight, isn't it? And he comes up between them and does all that thing them out. Just Maverick being Maverick, trying to get fired on the first day.
Yeah,
all that just
great scene to advertise the film. And I feel like, even again, you're watching that and you're like, well, you kind of knew that he was going to be in that position where he's having to fly and he's having to teach, or if you know anything about Top Gun, or have seen the first one, you can assume. So you didn't give too much away, yet they've showed you a scene, and it definitely got people who I know who weren't interested in going to see the new Top Gun at all, to actually go and see the film.
Fair enough. So it served its purpose.
Exactly. And not a lot of, sometimes when they have these previews prior to movies, it's either one that's really big and you're probably going to see anyway. There's never one really that you're like, well, what this film actually is just, it's not a superhero film.
Yeah.
And it's not like, it didn't cost like $500 million to create, and it was a little bit of a, is it going to work, because it's a nostalgia sequel, and it's a rocky road for those.
Definitely, this is I think as my faith finally started to dwindle, because I said I was going to call it a Matrix. I said Matrix.
And you'd be well remiss to have you're in good stead to be like, actually that was so bad I'm not gonna watch anymore. No one would be like, oh no, don't stop there. They'll be like, no, that's full stop.
But fortunately I missed the Matrix and I still haven't seen it. And just as I was about to give up, Top Gun has come along and sort of like it can be done.
It can be done,
seemingly only by Tom Cruise.
I mean, we on the podcast have said that Ghostbusters was...
Oh, yes, Afterlife. So, Afterlife was very good, yes.
I mean, it's not just done by Tom Cruise, but...
Fair enough.
What does mesh, what it does have in common with Ghostbusters Afterlife is that it was made by people who are directly involved with the prior movies.
Yeah.
Not only, Tom Cruise with this one, initially... for pre-production all the way in like 2014-15, even director Tony Scott, who did the first one, was involved, and then unfortunately passed away. And then you've got Tom Cruise, who really just took the baton and just kind of ran with it. He was going to obviously be as heavily involved, but it was then like there's extra there's extra weight to it.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Yeah,
the director can't.
Maybe Tony would have done. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. And, with Ghostbusters Afterlife, you had Jason Reitman, who is Ivan Reitman's son, who was the producer of the first two. So you're like, when it's in good hands, you can tell.
It's just. I've had a few conversations with people that say they don't believe in art, and that's fine. I get
What?
that. Just
Don't believe
the
in
concept,
art?
or it's the idea this idea that art doesn't exist because it's a subjective thing. Blah blah blah.
What do you mean art doesn't exist?
I know. I've had this conversation, but it's basically
They need looking up.
It's like because it's subjective. It's the whole idea, like with the modern art, where like they put a cup on a table.
Do you mean that like they think that movies aren't art?
They don't think anything's art.
Well, that's just
Even like
that's disturbing.
The paintings of old and stuff like that.
That's just need locking up. They're mental.
But anyway, they've had this conversation. This is almost and if you want to start saying that movies is not art anymore, those sort of people and stuff like that, or people don't really make it. This shows that done with the ideology of art and not to make money.
I mean, they wanted to make money. Like, let's not say that they don't want to make money.
At the end of the day, these films still had that. There are films being churned out for the sake of being
I feel like they might have just been.
They cared.
Yeah.
They were invested, and like I said, one of the rules of art is if you want to sell art, buy a piece you like, because chances are someone else will like it. Or if you want to paint something or write or anything like that, they say write what you like because someone else will like it. That's a lot of like the deeper artists and so writers will advice they give. This is that he made the film he liked and he wanted to make. Yeah. And shock horror, we liked it.
Yeah.
Same with Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
They made the film they wanted to, not necessarily the film that like would have sold. I don't know. And shock horror, it sells.
Yeah, I was having this conversation with Joe yesterday, and we were talking about the original trilogy of movies by George A. Romero, like Dawn of the Dead, Land of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead. So the three original ones basically, and how they're like the quintessential director's movie, because like the director like wrote he wrote the movie, and he directed it, and in editing he was able to put his movie together.
Yeah.
And people liked that because it wasn't a studio trying to tick boxes or trying to play by the numbers so that it had a broader appeal, or a lot of these movies today are for everyone, which means they're for no one.
Yeah, we said that. Yeah, it was they're called. You guys called it something. It's the quad something, isn't it?
I don't know.
It ticks all the four. Like,
yeah, and when you make it such a broad appeal, if you make it really dumbed down, really saturated, just have people who are big stars, their names sell movies.
Yeah.
If it just has that, it was basically, if you basically make Batman and Robin,
yeah,
it's just not going to be good.
No.
So it's just.
Oh, actually, no, that's the best example though, because that is a movie that does actually keep giving.
In a different way, yeah. Okay.
No, but if you make Red Notice.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. So yeah. Okay. That's a.
You might, or even movies that in the moment, it's an entertaining 90 minutes, but it doesn't go beyond the 90 minutes.
I feel like Red Notice may have been a.
That's why I said Red Notice is probably the best example.
Is maybe a movie that was made by an artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Like a computer basically ran the numbers.
Yeah.
And they were like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
And then they were like
heist
movie. Yeah. Literally, they were the robots from Futurama. Like the heads of. The heads of the network, where they just like roll dice and they just like compute like what people like.
Isn't there a Rick and Morty episode where they're they keep putting a twist in because or something like that? It is that movie where they just kind of like insert twist here.
Yeah.
Insert twist. Like yeah.
But anyway, the thing we're trying to say is with this, coming back to a point is that this I feels like a even though he's not a director, it feels like the people who have the most investment in it, which is the same as a director.
Yeah,
really.
the creative bodies.
Yeah, the people who have the most, basically the most to lose. The most to the most. Those who know the characters most, and know the universe most, have put the effort into making a good story in there, and it feels totally not like a studio influenced film, which is rare these days. You do have to be Tom Cruise, or you do have to have the clout of Tom Cruise, which is very rare. Reserved mainly probably for The Rock, but not on a higher level. Not on as a higher level. He just kind of is like, I'm making an action movie, it's me. So whereas with Tom Cruise, I feel like there's a little bit more to it.
If he does the I make an action movie and it's me, he puts himself at the centre of it.
There's loads of others that
but he's just, I don't know, I think it's attention to detail. At the end of the day, if you think of just using the G-Force training and the cameraman training and stuff like that would have cost them money to do.
Exactly.
They didn't have to do that.
No, didn't have to.
But he wanted
could have used green
to
screen.
Could have used green screen. They could have. The camera bit. I don't know how they got around it. They would have probably just used green screen. It would have saved so much money. But he would no. I want it done this way. Apparently, my brother was telling me. One of the reasons he's waited this long is he was waiting for the technology to catch up. Yeah. So he didn't make them. He wanted to make the movie, but he wanted. I wasn't saying it was done. It was probably right and planned, but the technology wasn't there for him to make the movie he wanted. So he waited. Absolutely fair enough. Yeah. There's another good one. Danny Boyle was the second Trainspotting was supposed to be quite good for Trainspotting.
It was good. Yeah.
Danny Boyle literally waited 10 years for the characters to get to the age that they are in his second book or in the second book. Yeah. Like before he made a sequel. That kind of investment, like it usually does pay. It doesn't always, because at the end of the day, Wachowski made The Matrix, but different time, different mental space, that kind of thing.
Two things that the thing that I believe that Trainspotting and Top Gun Maverick have in common is that wait in time. It's the same with Ghostbusters Afterlife as well. I don't know what the phrase would be, but this is what I believe. Like the weight of of time basically adds another layer to the drama. Yeah. Because you're like, we knew them at like a different point in their life. Yeah. And then they've got to another point in their life, and you're basically watching them drag their baggage from one to the other. Yeah. And especially with Top Gun Maverick, and I didn't expect this to happen at all, really. It did happen with Ghostbusters, but mainly for different reasons. Mainly because Howard Ramis has passed away. Yeah. Like the original character of Egon. So but with this, I was like, it was probably one of the first times where I was just like, I was not overly emotional in the cinema, but like the emotions that they were trying to portray were hitting home as they should. Yeah,
particularly you talking about
and particularly what I just said. The fact that you've seen him when he was like in his 20s, early 30s.
Seen pictures throughout the film and stuff as well.
Yeah, and I mean, even just those, I was just like, even though I wasn't alive then, it was because you've seen the movie. You're like, remember the time, And I'm not talking like, oh look, here's the gold dice from the Millennium Falcon. Remember that? It's more like these things have emotional weight to it, because you're like, every time you look at that picture, and they do show it quite a lot, like maybe once too many for my liking. But the picture of Iceman and Maverick, somehow there was a cameraman there, just strolling around on the
shot straight away.
Strolling around on the top deck, just like
maybe a guy had a camera on him. I don't know. But who cares? They got the shot, and that's what's important.
And every time you do see it, I was like, it would just hit you, and you would feel emotional, and I'm like,
and it perfectly led into the contrast of, I'm so glad they brought Val Kilmer in. Yeah. It was definitely, for a film that's supposed to be Top Gun. Yeah. To have this very, very emotional kind of like real life kind of like I don't know, it's not state real life.
So he has
They
yeah.
literally give him the disease that he's got in real life,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, to explain why he is the way he is in it. And they could have not had him in it.
Yeah, they could
have owned it. But I think it's either that Tom Cruise has gone, no, you've got to be in this, or Val Kilmer's like, put me in your fucking movie.
I feel like they.
I didn't know it was. I thought that was him talking. I thought he could maybe still talk just a little bit, but usually uses a computer. And then he talked, but apparently it's something to do with like they strung a load of words from his old movies.
Honestly, they did it with Darth Vader for Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's all AI.
Oh, right, okay.
It's not James Earl Jones.
Oh, is it not?
It's not Hayden Christensen.
Oh.
It's it's a computer.
Oh, that's scary.
That's like.
Oh, Darth Vader's one thing, but
yeah,
Val Kilmer.
they've made Darth Vader more machine than he already was in, you know.
Oh, I thought James Earl Jones came back for voicing.
No, not at all.
Poor James.
Yeah.
But yeah, with this, it was like it didn't even look like I don't remember it looking too CGI mouth move or anything like that. But
I feel he probably could move his mouth,
possibly,
but just didn't say words.
Maybe that's very true. But
I didn't know
the whole scene with the typing and stuff like that, and it was like it hit home really hard, and obviously it was a hard scene to watch because it's a reality. That Val Kilmer is going through that, and he can't speak, and it is horrible to see, and especially they're showing you the photos of Val Kilmer as like, it's almost like watching Val Kilmer go through a Tombstone from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But yeah, it was, but I'm so glad they brought him into it.
Yeah, of course. Honestly, what they put up on the screen, you know, in that scene where he's like typing it, he doesn't type too many words.
No.
He only does like about 4 or 5 words at a time.
And even the way the dog looks when he's able to refer back to it.
And honestly, like, I think there's like 2 phrases. I feel like one's like there's still time, and like one's like just like let go of the past. I'm just like, I know they're like not super deep, but like in terms of the story and in terms of what this is, you know, it's a sequel to a film which is, you know, is really quite cheesy, and it's all a bit like hyper America 80s.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been
the best of the best.
It could have gone so many different ways, and they were like, no, we're gonna make it like quite serious. And it's like, but not too, like, it's a fine balance.
Yeah.
And they found a good balance in when they, like you said, when they brought Val Kilmer back. Didn't overuse him.
No.
You know, and then, yeah, just in the scene where we actually see him and he is in it, is like, it's something else. It's just really quite emotional, and it's like
really good
because you just get flooding back of like the good. I know it sounds really random, but like the good times, and it's even if you weren't alive then, if you enjoyed Top Gun, you know what the stakes are. They're like doubled down really, and you know having what he says, having what he said be typed up, you could be like, oh, it could lose its resonance or it could lose its weight, but it doesn't. It makes it even heftier, really.
Yeah, I think so. The way he acts, the guy, because he's got throat cancer and can't talk and using a computer, the acting was impeccable.
Yeah, it was
he
great.
was just like and it is even the way he's just like. I think when he turns over there, let's talk about work, and he goes, sure, it says something to him, and he's just like.
We had to
referring back to the work. He's
yeah.
like, yeah, we're going to talk about work. You know, asking how I am. So he's like, we're going to talk about work. But like, it's just that whole scene is absolutely fantastic, and it inevitably leads into the funeral scene. We kind of see that's very emotional stuff. Fucking John Hamm's character, cold as fucking ice. The next day,
honestly,
sacks him.
Yeah, literally.
like, I'm really sorry for your loss, but you're sacked.
Yeah.
That kind of shit. It's like, okay, it's a bit harsh. Okay. And it's the whole like Maverick believing that the only reason he was even there was him, and he's like, no, it's you.
Yep.
And then him realizing, no, it's you.
Jennifer Connelly brings out the bag with the turning his crisis of confidence into
in this one they change it. It's not just a beautiful woman that takes him out of crisis of confidence. It's an old friend and a beautiful woman.
That's true. Yeah,
a beautiful old friend.
Yeah.
who may or not had some relations with Jake based on the tension from the first movie. An old flame, you might say. And a beautiful woman brings him out his crisis of confidence, and he's able to
steal the plane and show him how it's done.
Such a good scene. Yeah. It's just the way it kicks in, and he's like, "Right, we're doing this," and they're all even there, all like, "What? There's like, we've been told why we had to do it this way, and you'll basically send us to die," and then you're just like, "Sorry, we got something," and you just see it on the radar coming in. It's like, oh yeah, and then he just pulls off absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That's a great scene, and I mean, an equally great sequence is what you probably at the time perceive as like the end.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, they're going to do the mission, and it'll just be like, yeah, sure, great, it will go off, and that's fine. But I mean, the end sequence, all from the mission all the way up to them once again landing on the aircraft carrier. Yeah. Same ending as same beginning, same ending.
Someone still takes that magic shot.
I know, right? But in the middle is like the film is different, but it's bookended by like the old familiar, which is great.
I think that's okay. Even I like the Goose Hangman. I know we're jumping ahead to it. The Goose Hangman essentially having the same trade-off, but don't say the line. That's brilliant. Like, I think if they said the line, I would have been a bit like, I think the theatre would have gone, but then after would have gone, no,
that's crazy. No.
Even like I said, as the mission's kicking in, you almost expect Danger Zone to kick in, but it doesn't. It goes Hans Zimmer. I don't think it even plays much music, is it? It's very much they rely on the audio of the planes, and that is.
They basically have just like musical tension, which Hans Zimmer is like so well known for. Exactly. It's so great at. So, but with the mission again, it's great action, and there's lots of tension, and especially when they get out of when they do blow up the thing, and you're just like, oh, well done, and then they're just like, but now we're fucked. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like, mission accomplished, but we're gonna die. So it's
great fighter, dogfighter, like it's not even a dogfighting scene at that point, is it? That's the muscle and dodging all that stuff, and you can see the way planes do avoid. It's a brilliant scene of that bit. Dogfighting comes later, obviously, and then you have the signature. Like the Maverick doing his, I think it's his signature move, isn't it? Where he does the whole like the plane goes up like that. I swear he does it in the first one, where he'll like catches the plane like that, and basically that's how he blocks Goose. He drops his things, saves Goose, and then the next missile gets him.
He uses his flares to save Rooster. By going above him just so that they're in flare range.
Does that thing with the pop back thing. That's just brilliant. Jet fighter sequences, like the stunt pilots is like absolutely incredible in both of these movies.
I feel like
stunt piloting is just so good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But I feel like after the main, I guess that is the main action sequence at the end. After that, I feel like that's when it turns into, it goes back slightly towards 80s action movies, where they hijack another plane from the enemies, nondescript communist country, because literally their flag is a circle with a red star in it, and I'm just like, cool, could be anyone.
We all know who it is.
We all know who it is.
We all know. We all know.
But
get away with it now.
That's when it takes a veer into 80s action movie territory. Whereas the rest of it, even for Top Gun, even for a sequel of the original Top Gun, is quite serious in tone.
And quite grounded.
That's great. It is grounded. But
because even the characters, the nicknames and the way they are and act and stuff for each other,
that's how it is.
I've met sailors. They are that.
So I mean, and here's the thing: as much as I say it leaps into the territory of like an 80s action movie. I mean, within the confines of what we've seen previous and the first movie, it's not out of the realms of what you should be expecting.
And there's even a little bit self-commentary in the bit of it where they're walking across the airfield and it's like, how the fuck are they getting away with that? And they go, we should probably speed up. Instead of just like being the casual spy.
That's okay, because there's like absolute chaos. Because
it makes sense. There is no airfield for them to go down.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. And there's a bit of like, so they just steal this plane. No one is thinking about the plane that doesn't work.
Yeah,
Sort of shit like that.
Yeah.
But the fact that the plane is one of those, it's like brilliant little callback.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be like getting the old tech in there.
You've got to do
somehow.
You've got to do it. It's got to be done.
And for it not to be shoehorned in like, say, they're like, well, the only generation of fighter that can go at that speed and not, and make the mission is the old ones.
Yeah.
That would have been a bit too much because
No,
it's
yeah.
like they are now, nearly 40-year-old machines.
Yeah, no, they saved it for a perfect bit where it wasn't about the speed anymore. It was literally just like
it's just about escaping.
And it's the whole like they did the whole sort of like the man versus machine technology, that kind of thing. They're like, technically these pilots, all the way through it, they're like, if those fighter pilots catch you in the modern planes, you're fucked.
Yeah.
That's it. They're too far ahead. You're fucked because of what they can do, and we see what they can do.
Yeah,
they can do on a mechanical level the shit that like a pilot like Maverick has taught himself to do with years of training. But they're just doing it. Just like press a button and the plane just fucking does it, and we see that. And it doesn't feel like, oh, and then suddenly the old plane is so much better than theirs. No. It's like oh shit, no, they're fucked.
It's something that they've been saying throughout the whole of the movie.
Yeah.
It's not the plane, it's the person in the box.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of like, to a degree that's true.
Yeah.
But also it's so advanced that if they do catch you, you're dead.
Yeah. So. And that was even the way the fight goes. They're getting hit.
Yeah.
They're getting pinged. Like the bullets are hitting. It's not like they dodged completely like that. And it is a struggle to kill just two of them. It is one plane for like.
They have to work together to the best of their abilities to win.
And you could argue that that's where it gets a bit more action cheesy, but it's again like I can believe it.
Yep. Same.
I can believe someone was that good.
It's an action movie. It's Top Gun. So
exactly,
they could have gone a lot more ridiculous.
Yeah,
but they didn't.
No, they didn't.
And I'm saying like crashing near an enemy base and then stealing a fighter jet.
Yeah,
is very not cheesy, but it's very Grand Theft Auto. It's not, and it's just a little bit like, okay, there's. If there was a point past that, it would probably be too much.
Yeah.
But you're like, the setup for the payoff was done so well that you're like, you're not really questioning it. You're just along for the ride.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Yeah, in this universe, why not? Kind of like. Yeah,
and you get a glorious moment at the end where, like we said, it's exactly the same as the original, and this is what you want. You want we're scratching a broken record at this point, saying that the formula is to do exactly the same, a little bit different.
But this does that, but then a little like
I feel like when we say that, like, oh yeah, do this,
doesn't really apply to this.
Yes, when we're saying like do the same, but like. Make it different.
Yeah.
There's like a spectrum, and all they've done is take the very beginning, and I'm talking like just using two songs and introducing the film,
the introduction,
and the very final shots. And everything else in there is different.
It references an existing universe and existing media, absolutely, like all the way through it. Like Maverick's whole thing is that I'm glad they didn't just brush over the Goose thing as like a personality trait thing. It's very much a big part of his story still. I'm glad they obviously not Rooster, with Rooster and Goose, but they I don't know the other way around now, but called Goose Rooster, but they could have done the very classic so Goose grows up Rooster grows up hating Maverick because he's responsible for his dad's death, sort of thing like that. But that's not where as much as I think he does he kind of like takes those digs.
Yes.
That's not why he's angry at Maverick.
No, that's
he's
a good
angry
thing.
of a completely separate thing. And it's because Maverick himself, it's his shit to do with Goose, pulled Rooster's papers, setting him back in his naval career, or his fighter pilot career, essentially. And that's like, oh, okay, so they've even given them their own. It's not just like, oh, the teenage boy grew up to be an angry man.
They've done it again where they've got what you expect, and they've just been like they've tweaked it.
Yeah.
Just enough so that you're still getting the same conflict, or similar conflict, but for very realistic reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, he
And
could.
also is very.
They could have gone that route. They could have gone like, oh, he hates him because like that he was flying.
I would
with
have
his dad.
accepted it. Yeah, I was like, yeah.
But you can tell that he probably got past that with the help of his mother. I think they reference it, and then they're just like, yeah, but he did this later on. And it's like, oh, like there's actually more going on than just what happened in Top Gun.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And that's good.
And even then, there's more going on than what we think because it wasn't his choice. The mum told him to do it on her deathbed.
Yeah. Oh.
Fucking harsh.
And he was just like, oh, again, it's so good. Like it's very subtle stuff, and you know, it isn't like the most deep of writing. Sorry,
no.
But it is like, God, that is like quite realistic.
Yeah,
you know, like if someone asked you to like protect their child,
and the best thing is he doesn't end up telling him.
Yeah.
Which they would quite often do. Is like, I don't know whether you've opinion from his life. Oh, but now for the payoff,
they don't
should know.
They don't try and absolve Maverick cheaply by him being like, your mum did it.
Yeah.
You know, he's just like, I'll take it to the grave.
Yeah.
You know, he has to forgive me, like, organically or not at all.
Yeah,
like that's he's not going to betray his dead best friend's wife who died.
Who also sounds like, I'd imagine they were close before anyway, but sounds like become one of his best friends. So
he's like, I'm not doing it. I'm not betraying either of them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's just like he can hate me, but like that's it.
It's fine. Like
And again, that's just it's just great. Like it's very human.
Yeah,
it's very emotional.
Yeah, this is supposed
for a film that's not supposed
to be a Top Gun sequel, and it like was deeper than a lot of the deep shit we're getting now. Yeah. It's like it's so good. Like little arcs like that were just brilliant. Rooster's plotline, like Hangman's one. Hangman again, we say that last bit turns up, saves them.
Very last minute, the tension is at the biggest peak, and you're just like, there was obviously a feeling of like they're both not going to die, but also throughout the whole film, the danger is there that you're just like, how are they going to get out? Obviously, you could kind of work it out. Hangman's been left on the tarmac, and they basically say it like four times where they're like, you're staying back for any subsequent duties, and I'm just like saving them at the last minute.
You getting frustrated asking to go out. You're like, okay, but no, the bit we another sort of, I guess it was a fake out in itself, is because obviously I think you're like a part of going into this movie. Will they or won't they kill Maverick?
I know, I thought they might do.
When he does the rescue him thing, and the way they play it out, if he'd been dead, I'd have chalked it up to. Okay.
I feel like at that point in the runtime, I was like, "This is the end of the movie." And then they just added on 20 minutes. And then they were just. I was at that point. I was a little bit like, "This is the end of the film." Like, I don't see it going any longer than this. And you know, I know they. So Rooster wasn't like, "Yeah, okay, I'm going back to the carrier."
Wouldn't be, yeah.
So because he didn't, it's one of those things. It's like Jim Gordon dying in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Didn't see the body. You know, he's not dead. It's one of those. You didn't see him fly back to the helicarrier.
Yeah.
To the aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
He's still out there. He's going to save him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
But I thought the ending was great, and then had like I guess it's like a character family reunion where they all just go to his like. He's got like a hangar, isn't he? He lives at an aerodrome, so it's like, and they all just go there, and he takes Jennifer Connelly for a ride. Yeah. Whilst Lady Gaga plays in the background.
Yeah.
So
which is
I mean
I think that's how we got in trouble the first time, isn't it?
Yeah. Nice callback.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so pretty much goes full circle, and I don't think they'll make another one.
No, I
don't think they need to.
No, I don't know what else you'd do.
I joked about the real MCU.
Yeah.
But if there's a story to be told with maybe with with
the new
Hangman
or
if Miles Teller wants to kind of take over the reins,
maybe
and if there's a good story to be told. Then I'll always welcome it.
What this has done is solidified that trust that if they do announce another one, I'm not going to go, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I know.
The trust is there now. I know they're only going to do it if they think it's a good story.
And I don't think they'll, as much as this is what studios do, is they'll have a really good film, and then when the sequel is coming up, they'll just cut costs. Like, I just can't see it happening because Tom Cruise won't. He won't do it.
No,
if that was the case,
he's proven that he will spend the money he needs to spend to make the movie he wants.
Yeah,
and
to get the results.
Do you think from a there's nothing from a financial point of view, as a businessman point of view, as himself, there is nothing from using that method that says, oh, you're going to lose money. Because he's been doing it with the Mission Impossibles, and they've been making a fuckload of money.
They've been making bank, yeah.
So like, it's not like he does it and it's like, oh, this is a risk. He's probably like, no, by the looks of it, it works, so I'm going to keep doing it as well. I want to do it anyway, and by the looks of it, there's barely any risk.
Honestly, I feel like it's the only way he operates. So you just won't get Tom Cruise in your movie.
No.
So
exactly.
I don't think they would. I mean, I feel like if there was a story, and I feel like maybe if Tom Cruise contractually has no like stakes in Top Gun, like he can't say yes or no to a project. Like he can't stop them from making a Top Gun. Because they I think it's Paramount. They own the IP. So So, but I feel like they would have to have the blessing of Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like even more so than say if you had Ridley Scott for an Alien movie tie-in or loosely based. James Cameron for a fucking Terminator film. Those trusts are gone. But it was similar for those. They always try to look for the blessing of someone involved. In when it was at its peak.
And if he wasn't involved, you'll end up with a
Terminator 3 Salvation,
a Hobbit situation where they forego all of the effective camera trickery and better way of shooting
for green
and
screen.
Just put green screen all over it.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
So
let's get to some. Do you know what? Let's do a two-parter where we do our rating for Top Gun and for Top Gun Maverick.
We're talking enough about both
because I mean they come together as a package.
Absolutely,
two very different movies that somehow it just works.
Together so well.
So let's go for. What should we do? So let's do.
I think the commentary that would be like if you were to like picture you in the 90s and the noughties and then picture yourself now. It's that, isn't it? It's that sort of thing where like the 80s version of Top Gun and like Tom Cruise and that, and then him now. Sort of a bit more grounded like that. It's that sort of like we always picture the past a little bit more fantasized and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. There's 90s, always the nostalgia goggles.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like we've been on so many journeys with Tom Cruise that's another layer of the same thing that I talked about, where it's like the emotional weight because of time is even higher, because if you're a fan of don't have to be a fan of all Tom Cruise films, that's totally fine. He's dabbled in certain other things, but he's just like back to focusing on like action movies, well and truly. So he's, you also have been on a journey with Tom Cruise. So it's like, because it's been talked about for so long, and even if you're just like a moderate fan of Top Gun or you've seen it, you're aware of it. And then you're just like, oh, they're bringing out a new one. It's a bit later on. It might be still the same old schlock, but it's totally not. And for all the love of Top Gun, the original, there's so many other reasons to like love this film as well. And they're different reasons, which is really weird. It's such a weird dichotomy.
It's a formula that I think Hollywood's going to be bashing their heads over trying
to work it out
for a while now.
Like we've just spent well over an hour and a half trying to do the same. So. But rating for so we're gonna rate the first Top Gun out of
super gay volleyball scene.
No. Let's do it out of like I'm gonna say awkward to watch love scenes
Okay.
Because I'd say it's probably not really that awkward. It's very artsy for what it is, isn't it?
That like slow motion, like
I feel like
who is having sex like this?
I mean,
like, come on.
And there's like a lot of licking involved.
It's just like there's so much sweat.
I don't want to.
Why is there so much sweat?
No,
like,
well, that's just in the rest of the movie.
They're not even. Oh yeah, that's true. The whole movie, they're very sweaty.
That's just movies in the 70s and 80s.
That's
bro.
true.
I feel like from the 70s all the way up to like, I don't know, Independence Day.
Everyone was just deodorant hadn't cracked it yet.
No, I don't think. I feel like it's just like they just had like no towels on set. Like, why is that such an oversight? You know, surely there should be like a third AD who just can bring towels, or a runner who can go out and get you some. Nip out to Walmart and get you some towels.
Yeah,
but
those lights, man, they're so hot.
Yeah, let's do it out of like awkward sex scenes, and not really because it's awkward.
Awkward lovemaking scenes.
Awkward lovemaking scenes because I feel like nowadays, if you were to put that scene in a movie, like shot for shot, it would be so cringe.
It'd be weird as fuck.
So out of awkward lovemaking scenes, how many out of 5?
First Top Gun.
First Top Gun.
5.
Yeah, 5. Wow. Okay.
One of my favourite movies.
Yeah. I mean,
I just rewatched it again for the first time in a couple of years as well. It was just there was not an ounce of it that I wasn't smiling into it, and everything that was going on was amazing. Yeah. Every beat just hits.
Yeah.
It's like we've said as well, as critical as we get, like if I can't find anything wrong with it, why am I going to mark it down? Like 5, absolutely. And
I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Ooh, okay.
And I'll reveal the reason
now.
Once we realise what we're marking or rating the second one out.
Okay.
I feel like I'm just going to. Right. Okay. We're gonna rate Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
Out of 5 millennials somehow knowing all of the lyrics to Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because
that was
who from our generation, you know, and that was one of the things where I was like, I could mark it down.
We know people will know there are people out there that will absolutely know it, full lyrics. That's fine of that, but an entire bar.
Yeah. An entire bar that is at that point majority made up of people under the age of 40.
Yeah.
And I'm
under
like
the age of 35.
Maybe I'd say like the other patrons are like a little bit older than them.
That's true. Yeah.
But definitely, you know, one of the things which probably one of the only things that I didn't like was the fact that he played the same song as his dad.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he was probably taught it, but
there was
like
a storytelling purpose
for him to play the same song as his dad just happened to be at the moment when Maverick's there as well, and so the only 2 points in time we witness someone playing the piano, both the father and the son, it's the same song. I'm like, the chances of that are so small. But it's a movie, so
and it was a nice moment.
It was a nice moment,
a hard moment.
It was an emotional moment for Mav. So,
but yeah, it is a bit. That's probably ironically, out of everything that happens in this movie, that might be the most far fetched.
Yeah,
that's including the beating the superior jets with an old 80s jet and stealing a jet Grand Theft Auto style off of a broken runway.
Yep, and this Mach 10 stealth fighter.
Oh yeah, the Mach 10.
Out of everything that happens in this movie,
that's
someone playing a certain song on the piano that his father also played in the last movie is just outrageous. And so for that, I'm giving it a 3. No, so yeah, out of
that, yeah.
So out of 5 millennials who know all of the lyrics to Great Balls of Fire, I'm giving it a 5.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm giving Top Gun, the original, 4.5 is because I genuinely think this is a better film.
Okay.
So I can't. I could have given it a 5.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm thinking.
Could you remember there's a scale. Even
I know.
The number itself.
I feel like.
But you want to mark that. How much you think it is a better movie.
Yeah. Okay. I genuinely, because of how technology's changed and how they wanted to present this film in comparison to the last film.
Yeah.
I just think it is
How
that
they've
like
used that technology.
it is just that one step up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it's a 0.5.
Yeah.
And giving a Top Gun a 4.5 is not a bad thing.
No.
And then giving this one a 5 is just it's not high art, but it's probably the best cinematic experience I've had since Endgame.
Yeah.
But the reason that Endgame was such a big big experience for a lot of people was because of how much build there was.
Yeah.
The film is good.
Yeah.
It's got some flaws, but Endgame is really good, and I feel like it was a good ending to everything that they built before. Some things you'd want to change, but let's not get into that. But
penultimate episodes are always better than the finale.
Yeah, I obviously prefer Infinity War, but that's neither here nor there.
Always
but then before that, there's probably only a handful of cinema experiences I'd say are on that level.
Yeah.
So I went to see Tron.
Yeah.
In IMAX when IMAX was like just coming out.
Yeah.
There was really only the one near us. It was the only one was in London.
Yeah, I can match it with something. Yeah.
And before that was
when my IMAX was just starting Waterloo, when it was only in Waterloo.
Yeah.
The first Star Trek. That was my first IMAX kind of experience. And then with Chris Pine, that was very similar sort of experience.
And then before that, it's like Inception and like The Dark Knight. And all of those were like 2009, 2010, 2012.
Yeah.
Like, look how much gap there is.
Yeah,
There's
I know.
10 years between, or about 8 years between that last, like, I can't believe, like, that's just happened. Like, it was, like, don't get me wrong, like, Tron Legacy is not like it's not like a great film. It's a good film.
Yeah, it's a good film.
But because of, it was in IMAX.
Yeah.
And because of like the music's fantastic and the effects are like really good, and like it was just more of an experience.
Yeah.
So I want that every time, but I get it rarely.
Yeah.
So for a film like Top Gun, which was an 80s kind of cheesy film, still really good,
incredible
for what it was.
Yeah, but it was an action.
For the sequel to be that good. And it be an experience, and for me to be like, that was on a different level.
Yeah.
I can't just give it. I can't give it anything less than a 5.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm gonna in a very similar sense, but for almost like in the same wheelhouse. I'm gonna give it a 5. But because I like them both equally.
All right. Okay.
For the same sense as you are. They are. I don't have a preference out of the two.
Oh, okay.
They are. I do think they are just in the realm of what we've been saying, where they both go together so well. They obviously are part of the same universe, but they are different movies while being the same. It's just I like them both equally. It's the same beat for me with both of them, so they're both fine.
Yeah.
They were just sitting together.
But I did try my very best to not mark it down, just like for one reason. Definitely.